Colombia is one of the wildest places on Earth. From the freezing peaks of the Andes to the steaming Amazon rainforest, its landscapes change dramatically, creating some of the most diverse ecosystems on the planet. Hidden inside these forests, rivers, swamps, and mountains are predators that have evolved to hunt, survive, and dominate. Some are powerful enough to take down animals much larger than themselves, while others rely on stealth and patience, disappearing into their surroundings before their prey even realizes they are there. In Colombia's wilderness, the most dangerous predator isn't always the one you can see. Today, we're entering the wildest corners of Colombia to discover some of its most formidable predators, beginning with one of the most elusive hunters in South America, the jaguar. Deep inside Colombia's rainforests, something is moving through the vegetation. You probably won't hear it, and you probably won't see it, but it may already know you're there. The jaguar is one of the most powerful predators in the Americas. Unlike many big cats that depend heavily on speed, jaguars are built for power, with muscular bodies and incredibly strong jaws. But their greatest weapon may be stealth. A jaguar can move through dense vegetation while using the forest as cover, slowly getting closer to its prey without making much noise. Jaguars are also excellent swimmers and can hunt around rivers, wetlands, and flooded forests. They are solitary animals and can occupy huge territories, which makes encountering one in the wild incredibly rare. The jaguar doesn't need to announce that it's the king of the forest. In Colombia's wilderness, the forest already knows. The spectacled caiman now leave the rainforests behind and look toward the water. At first, the river appears completely calm. Birds move along the shoreline, fish disappear beneath the surface, and the vegetation barely moves. But something is watching. Only its eyes may be visible above the water. The spectacled caiman is one of Colombia's widespread crocodilian predators, and its body is perfectly adapted for aquatic ambushes. It doesn't need to chase its prey across the water. Instead, it waits almost completely motionless, sometimes appearing like nothing more than a piece of the surrounding landscape. Then, when an opportunity comes close enough, the calm surface can suddenly explode into action. Caimans can feed on fish and other aquatic animals, while larger individuals can take considerably bigger prey. Their greatest advantage isn't speed, it's patience, and that strategy has helped crocodilians survive for millions of years. The green anaconda. In Colombia's wetlands and flooded forests lives another predator that doesn't need venom, claws, or a high-speed chase. The green anaconda relies on its enormous body and an incredibly effective ambush strategy. These giant snakes spend much of their lives around water, where their eyes and nostrils sit high on their heads, allowing them to remain mostly submerged while watching what happens around them. An animal may approach the water without realizing that a predator is nearby. The snake waits until the opportunity is right, then strikes. Once it has grabbed its prey, the anaconda uses its powerful body to restrain it. Green anacondas can feed on a variety of animals, including fish, birds, and mammals. Their ability to move through water and remain hidden makes wetlands an ideal hunting ground. But Colombia has another predator that doesn't hide beneath the water. It rules the forest canopy. The harpy eagle high above the rainforest canopy. The world looks completely different. From the ground, the forest can seem almost impossible to navigate. Branches overlap, leaves block the sunlight, and everything appears to be moving at once. But from above, a predator has a completely different view. The harpy eagle is one of the most powerful eagles in the world, and Colombia's rainforests provide important habitat for this incredible bird. It has enormous talons, powerful legs, and broad wings that allow it to maneuver through the forest. Its prey can include tree-dwelling mammals and birds. Unlike birds that depend on open skies and extremely high speeds, the harpy eagle is adapted to hunting within the complex environment of the rainforest canopy. Yet despite its size and power, it can be incredibly difficult to find. You can travel through huge areas of rainforest and never see one. Sometimes, the most dangerous predator is the one that never gives you a warning. The puma. The puma. Not every great predator in Colombia lives in the tropical rainforest. Across the country's mountains and forests lives another highly adaptable hunter, the puma. Unlike the jaguar, pumas can survive in a remarkable variety of environments, including forests, mountains, grasslands, and areas surprisingly close to human settlements. Pumas are powerful predators, but their greatest advantage may be adaptability. They can travel long distances while searching for prey and are excellent jumpers, allowing them to move through difficult terrain with surprising ease. But a puma doesn't want an unnecessary fight. Every chase costs energy, and every injury can become dangerous for a predator that depends on its body to survive. That's why successful hunters choose their moments carefully. Being powerful doesn't mean fighting all the time. Sometimes, survival means knowing when not to fight. The Orinoco crocodile. Now we come to one of the most remarkable crocodilians associated with Colombia. The Orinoco crocodile. Historically, these giant reptiles inhabited much of the Orinoco basin, but today they are critically endangered. That makes every encounter with one more than just a wildlife experience. It is a glimpse of a predator that has survived enormous environmental changes. The Orinoco crocodile can grow to an impressive size and has a long, narrow snout that gives it a distinctive appearance. Like other crocodilians, it relies heavily on ambush. It doesn't waste energy chasing everything that enters the water. Instead, it waits. The river continues flowing. The forest continues moving, while the crocodile remains almost completely still. But the greatest threat facing this ancient predator isn't another animal. It's human activity. Habitat loss and historical hunting have pushed the species toward the edge. Sometimes, humans aren't entering a world where predators are winning. We're entering a world where some predators are disappearing. Ocelot. Not every predator in Colombia is enormous. Some of the most successful hunters are surprisingly small. Meet the ocelot. At first glance, it looks like a miniature leopard, with a beautifully patterned coat that helps it blend into the forest. But its appearance isn't what makes it successful. The ocelot is an efficient, nocturnal hunter. When darkness falls, the rainforest becomes a completely different world, and that's when this predator becomes active. Its sharp senses help it locate prey moving through vegetation and along the forest floor. Ocelots can hunt rodents, birds, reptiles, and other small animals. Because they are relatively small, they can also exploit habitats and prey that larger predators cannot. And this reveals one of nature's greatest secrets. You don't always have to be the biggest predator. Sometimes, you simply need to be perfectly adapted to your environment. The wild balance, but Colombia's dangerous wildlife isn't limited to animals with enormous teeth and claws. The country's ecosystems contain countless predators operating on completely different scales. Snakes move silently through vegetation. Crocodilians wait beneath the surface. Birds of prey scan the forest from above, and smaller predators hunt under the cover of darkness. Every one of them plays a role in maintaining the balance of the ecosystem. The rainforest isn't simply a battlefield where one animal is always the strongest. It is a gigantic network in which every species is connected to something else. Can eventually spread throughout the ecosystem. That's why Colombia's predators aren't simply frightening animals. They are essential pieces of one of the most complex natural systems on Earth. Colombia is extraordinary because so many different worlds exist within one country. The Andes, the Amazon, the Orinoco Basin, the Caribbean coasts, tropical forests, wetlands, rivers, and mountains. Every environment creates its own specialists. The jaguar dominates through stealth. The caiman survives through patience. The anaconda relies on strength. The harpy eagle rules the canopy. The puma survives through adaptability, and the crocodile has mastered the ancient art of ambush. But none of these animals are unstoppable. Every predator has limits. Every hunter has enemies, and every ecosystem has a balance. So, what is Colombia's most dangerous predator? The jaguar, the crocodile, the anaconda. Perhaps the answer depends entirely on where you're standing. Because in the Colombian wilderness, danger doesn't always come with a roar. Sometimes it moves silently through the trees. Sometimes it waits beneath the water. And sometimes it watches from high above the ground. And sometimes you never even realize it was there. This is Colombia, a land where survival isn't guaranteed, and where the wild still belongs to those perfectly adapted to it. This is Primal Secrets.